The oil rout continues weighing on gold prices, which have fallen roughly 50% from Friday's bounce. Could the Fed still raise interest rates next week? Joining us now is the CEO of U.S. Global Investors, Frank Holmes. Frank, good to have you back on Kitco News.
It's great to be back.
Well, before we look at gold, let's talk about oil now near a 7-year low. Do you think continued pressure on oil prices could deter the Fed next week?
Well, I don't know if it'll basically defer their decision making. I think it's much more significant the global economy, that they have to be sensitive for imports and exports. But coming back on looking at America as a country, if they raised the rates 25 basis points, I don't think it's as significant because the 10-year government bond is still lower from 6 months ago.
Well, let's look at gold now. We had such a good run on Friday, but we're now down from last week's bounce. Is the sentiment just too negative here? And could prices turn around before year end?
Well, I think if they do not raise rates, then you'll probably get a big surge in gold. But just remember the daily volatility for gold is approximately 70% of the time, it's a non-event to go up or down $15. And over a week to go up and down $25 is a non-event. What's important is that anytime it falls about $150 over 12 months, gold is a good buy. It's a low risk buy.
And Frank, what about the negative sentiment coming out of China, which sent mining stocks downward, with Anglo American leading the pack here? Does this concern you?
Well, Anglo has its own issues as a corporation. When I mentioned earlier that Australia, the gold stocks are doing so well there because the Australian dollar is down. They're paying in Australian dollars. Fuel prices are down, so they're getting expansion in their profit margin for processing the gold. And then you have the gold prices in dollar terms, so you're seeing some places are doing exceptionally well. When we look in Canada, companies that are only producing in Canada, they're doing very well.
All right, Frank, to wrap, what's your touchdown pass going to be this week?
Well, I think it's just getting through the week. And there's no big economic data point that's an inflection point. I think much more noise takes place next week in the economic data. We're still concerned about China, what it's going to do to get that economic engine turned, and that will be key for next year.
All right, Frank, thanks so much for joining us. And thanks for watching this edition of Gold Game Film with Frank Holmes. We'll see you tomorrow.